Hi everyone, it's Aga from MiyukiCrystalBeads.com and I'm here with another fun beading tutorial for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you always know when we're posting new content. So today's video is kind of a little bit special. It is sort of a Valentine's Day video, but also any day video if you like the shape of a heart, or you just like shiny crystals and making cute little elegant things with them, because today we're going to be making this cute little crystal bale. It's perfect for the heart pendant because, well, it's got the perfect shape. It's double-sided and it's just kind of really elegant. And I'm going to show you how to make it into an earring and more of a pendant as well. So here's what you're going to need. First of all, beads. I'm going to be using Miyuki rounds, and you're going to need 11 and 15. I use the same color because I just like when it's all coherent and cohesive and matches together. It's a little bit more elegant as well. I'm also going to be using, well, the crystal heart pendants. Here I have those gorgeous heart pendants from Krakovski in the Bermuda blue color. I'm also going to be using pearls. These are 4mm pearls, also from Krakovski. And here I have this lovely blue color, and here I made an example with the white pearls. And I'm not quite sure which one I like better. So I'm going to make one earring to match this one, so with the blue. You're obviously going to need an earring finding if you want to make earrings, and one jump ring for that. Rather large one, I would say, because we have to get it through the beads here. Well, not through the beads, sort of over in this loop. And if you want to make a pendant, you probably also want to have a chain to hang it on. So here I have ball chain, and I'm going to show you how to attach a clasp to it. And speaking of a clasp, here I have a regular lobster clasp. And to finish the chain, you're also going to need some ends. These are special ball chain ends. They are these side kind of clamshell tips that you can use, and they should be in the size that's good for the chain or a bit larger. And for that, I'm also going to be using 2 extra jump rings. When it comes to tools, you're obviously going to need a needle. And I would recommend a thin one because there's going to be a lot of thread passes in those beads. Here I have, I believe, a size 12 needle, but a size 13 also will be great. You just have to be careful not to break it, of course. And also I'll be using a Fireline, and that's the best thread to use in here because it makes it really easy to go through the beads all those times. And I'll be using 4LB. The thinnest one, the finest one, because as I said, all the thread passes, right? I'm going to use scissors to cut off the excess thread, and we're also going to need flat nose or chain nose pliers. I have 2 pairs because I'm going to be opening and closing rings with them. And they can also help you if you need to get your needle through some 15s or other beads if there's too much thread in them. Okay. Let's start then. Alright then, I've cleared out my workspace a little bit, and I put about half a wingspan of thread on my needle. That's not very much, and we're going to leave a tail. And this time, although I don't like doing that, I already cut off the thread because it's really just a little piece, so you're not going to need a lot of thread. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a pearl, and I'm going to string it on. And then I'm going to pick up 4 11-0s. Just like that. And I'm going to slide this down and leave enough of a tail so that I can weave it in later on. So that's just several inches. And I'm going to go right up this same pearl. No beads, just the pearl. so that the beads kind of form a half circle around this bead here. I'm gonna pick up 4 more beads, 4 more 11-ohs. And I'm gonna go right back up this bead. Or down, depending on how you're holding it. Okay, so this is where I am. Now I'm gonna go back down these 4 beads that I added before, so like the first 4. And as I go down, over here I'm going to add 2 beads and go back up. So like I'm making a sort of a circle. It's not gonna be a full circle then at the end, but it's going to be like sort of a circle. Because as you can see, here's a little gap. And in that gap right now, I'm going to put 2 more beads, but these are going to be the top beads. So we're not exactly be making a circle because these will kind of get up a little bit later on, as you can see here. And that's not really a circle in the end either. So what I did is I added these 2 beads over here, and I went through 2 11-ohs on this one side. And this is like halfway the 4 beads that I initially added. Now we're going to make the nice like diamond shape by adding a single 11-oh in between these 2 beads. It kind of pops in there. And now I went 3 beads down. I went 3 beads down over here. And I ended up in between the 2 extra beads that I added to first make like most of a circle. So I'm going to add 1 11-oh in between them as well. And I'm going to go up 3 beads on this side. This is going to be the bottom. And now I'm in the middle of the 4 beads again that I added initially. So these were the 4. And I'm gonna add 1 more bead in here to make it into a diamond. And now I'm coming out of one of these beads at the top that we also added in between the 2 4s, kind of as the second of the 2 extra beads that we added to close the circle. But I'm going to put 2 11-ohs in between them as if I'm starting a herringbone stitch. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go all the way around. So I circle back. I'm going to arrange them kind of on top of these 2 previous beads, and that's what it's going to look like. So I'm gonna go all around and come out of this bead here. And now's the time, actually, when we start making already our little loop that we're going to hang our earring on, or the loop that we're going to make this into a pendant with. So this loop here, so you can make it a little bit larger. You can make it with 11-ohs. I'm going to make it with 15-ohs so that it's a little bit smaller like here. And it's easier and it's more kind of dangly on the jump ring. Or you can make it larger and make it into a pendant. So you're going to do it with herringbone stitch, as I mentioned before. So I'm picking up 2 15-ohs, and I'm just going through the second bead in this pair. So my thread is coming out of this bead on the right and I'm going in the bead on the left. And I'm going to add a tiny little 15-0 in here. You could just omit it and not do it, but I'm gonna add it because I like the extra accent, sort of. And I'm gonna go up these 2 beads here. So I'm going into the 11-0 and the 15-0. And this single 15-0 here just kind of pops in, makes nice accent, kind of textural. And I'm just going to be adding pairs of 15-0s. So I'm picking up a pair of 15-0s. I'm going down a single bead on the left. I let them kind of align themselves here. And then I'm gonna go 2 beads up, looking at where my thread is coming out of. So here. So I'm going up the bead on the other side of the stitch and the one above it. Just make sure that your thread doesn't go under some other beads. This one is okay. And I'm going to do this 7 times in total with the 15-0s. So there's going to be 7 pairs of 15-0s over there. I already have 2. So there's 5 to go. Okay, so I think I have 7, 2, 4, 6, 7. And now we're kind of going to be doing exactly the same thing as we did here, only in reverse, but not exactly the same thing. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick up 2 11-0s. And I'm going to add this pair like here. And this one goes in as normal. And now I want to add the other pair of 11-0s, but as you can see, they're not kind of connected underneath here, these 2. So I don't want to put them on together. So I'm going to put one of them on one side. Just like here, it's going to go directly into the side beads. So I'm picking an extra 4 beads. So in total, I'll have 5. So 5 beads and then a pearl. This is a nice satin color. I really like it. Okay, this is what I have. So the way it's going to shape itself later on is going to be like this. So the pearl is actually going like this. We're going in to the pearl from like the bottom side up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up 4 more 11-0s for the other side. I'm going up the pearl again. And this is where I connect the pearl to the 4 11-0s on this side. So I skip this one bead that I added in the 5 previously. And I'm just going down here. I'm going to turn it over. This is what it looks like. I'm going to go all the way down and add the bottom 2 beads. They're going to connect this kind of circle at this point. So 2 11-0s. And I'm going to go all the way up the 4 beads on the other side. As you can see, you have to pull on that thread a little bit so that this doesn't just get all loose. And this is where I'll add the extra bead that's missing here. So I'm picking up another 11-0, and I'm gonna go up this bead here. And another round, so I'm going down this next 11-0 over here, and I'm reaching that point in between the two beads on the side of the pearl, so I can see the thread coming into these beads here, this one. So I want to be 2 beads down to the middle of the side of this sort of diamond that we're making here. And now's the time that I'm going to add an extra 11-0 in here. So going 3 beads down so that I'm in between the 2 extra beads that we added in the bottom. Another 11-0. I'm going 3 beads up. And one more 11-0 over here. Now I really want to connect these 2 beads over there, because in here they are connected. They also have an extra 15-0 in between them. I'm not going to be adding that just yet. I'm just going to connect them as I'm going down this side here. And what I want to do now, where I want to be, is I want to be coming out of one of these 2 beads here at the bottom, and that's where we're actually going to connect the 2 kind of ends of this beadwork to put it like this finally on the crystal. So I want to be coming out of one of these bottom beads over here. Now one more thing, you want to look where the front of your work is. For me it's here, it's this 15-0 in here, that's going to be the front. If you're not adding that, this doesn't matter, but I'm just going to put this tail in the front because right now it's kind of in the back and it will be difficult to get it back to weave it in. But at this point I'm going to put it just to the front of my work like that, and I'll weave it in later on. But I'm coming out of here. It's finally time to pick up the crystal. As I said, I want this to be the front and this the back. What I'll do now is I'll pick 5 15-0s. And they should fit into the hole of our little heart. So as you can see, they slide right in. I also tested this for Tohos, so they should be great as well. So I'm just pulling it through. This is gonna be my back. And I'm gonna go up on the other side. This 15-0 is going to hide right there. On the other side, I'm going to up, whichever side really, up these beads around this pearl over here. Just like this. So I'm entering one of those bottom beads over here. And that's where you want to make sure that all of the beads, all of the 15-0s are kind of inside. Oh no, I twisted it. Can you see that? It's twisted, so yeah, also make sure not to do that. Right, I untwisted it. And I'm going up on this side of that little diamond shape. And as I was saying before, you need to make sure that all of the 15-0s are inside that hole. You could obviously do that without the 15-0s, but I really don't like the thread kind of not going through anything, just going through the crystal, the hole of the crystal, which is kind of large. So I like to kind of surround the thread a little bit more with the beads wherever I can. Okay, and now as we will be making another circle over here to go into that crystal from this bead here, as we go around, we're also going to connect these sides of this little beadwork. So what I'll do is I'll go up one more bead, like this one. So the one above this kind of pointy one over here. And all I'm gonna do is I'm going to go down the same bead on the other side. If I manage to get in. Let me just grab it a little bit more firmly. So there's a lot of kind of turning the work around to get there. Right, so I'm through this bead over here. I'm just kind of connecting them one next to the other, making sure they're aligned. And I'm also going to pull hard on that thread. Well, not too hard not to break it, but just making sure that nothing here gets too loose. I'm going to go back up this bead on the side that I'm working on. And I'm going to go up the next bead. And the one after that. So one of these two first that we added here. And I'm also going to connect that bead, so I'm not connecting like the middle bead. I'm just connecting this like first one after like the diamond, and then the third one over here. So again, I'm going to go down this bead on the other side and back up through this bead here that I have. And you can go one bead up as well. At this point, it doesn't really matter. What matters is you pull tight so that the thread kind of hides and that, again, nothing is too loose. It is a little bit loose at this point. So I'm going to pull a little bit harder on it. Okay, and down this side, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So one of these two first beads that I added, I'm going to connect it to the same bead on the other side. Through 3 beads, and I'm going to connect this one as well. Right now, both sides are nicely connected, and it's gonna look just neat. At this point, I'm just going to go down until I've reached this bead here. And I'm gonna try to go through the 15-0s in that hole, like this. And since there's not much space, I will pretty sure come out of the 15-0 on the back, just like so. Pulling it tight, and let me check which side I was coming into previously. So I'm just gonna go up the other side. Just like that. So I'm coming into this bead here. And I'm gonna pull that very, very tight so that it's nice and snug. This is a good point in here to make a knot, because we're basically finished. So I'm making a loop with my thread, pulling that down, going into that loop, making another loop so that my thread is secure. I don't want to just weave it in. I want it to be kind of tense and really, really secure. I'm just going to go through these 4 beads up to hide the knot and weave in the rest of the thread. And I can trim it at this point. And basically that's it. I'm just gonna weave in and make a knot with this other end. If you want, you can fix this kind of opening here with pliers or even like scissors, but keep them close, of course. Like that. And basically all that's left to do is to hang it on our ear wire. Alright, let's pick up that jump ring that we want to put our earring on. Let's first find where it closes because they're so tightly sealed. It's really hard to see. Is it here? No, it's here. Okay. And here I have, I think, 20 gauge 6mm ring. But as you can see, any ring basically will do. So I'm just putting this on my ring and I'm minding the front while putting on the ear wire. Here I have just a regular ear wire because the kind of ornamentation of the beads and how they shine is enough, and I think that simple ear wire will do just fine. And this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like from the side, from the back, just as elegant. I really, really like this look. What do you think? Okay, and if you want to make this pattern into a pendant so that you have a nice set, you can just use, as I said, 11 O's instead of 15 O's. And in here I used, like in addition to these 2 rows that we do initially with 11 O's anyway, I used 2, 4, actually only 6 extra rows, but you can of course use more. You can make this loop as big as you want. And additionally, I connected, as I went, I connected them on the bottom with 15 O's so that there's this nice textured effect that I really like. So just as I went down this other bead, I added a 15 O before I went up the 2 beads for the next row. Okay, and this is how you add a clasp to a ball chain. And for this one, you're also going to need cutting pliers or wire cutters, because obviously you want to trim down your chain. So I'm going to cut mine right about over here. So I'm just cutting in between the balls of this chain, and that's basically it. And what I end up with are 2 ends with a tiny ball on each end. So what I do, and it's like so easy, you pick up this clamshell end that opens from the side, you just put the last ball inside and close it up. I close it up with my fingers initially so that it just holds up like this. Super easy. And then I pick up my chain nose pliers and close it all the way up. Now it's closed. As you can see, there's a little hole in there, and that's where I'm going to put my jump ring. So I open it up, and this is 20 gauge, and it should be like just right to fit in that hole. Let's see. Perfect. So a higher gauge jump ring will be better, but this one is also good. It's just fine. I'm going to put the clasp on this one. Close it up. And now I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I pick up my clamshell tip or end, put in the ball, and I try to close it with my fingers, or you can just pick it up with your pliers right away, like this, and just put the ball inside and close that up. Alright, so let me just pick up the other jump ring. Just like that, and you get yourself a chain that you can put through any charm or pendant. Okay guys, that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out the rest of the channel. We have a lot of fun tutorials just like this. All of the materials that I've shown you today can be found at eurekacrystalbeads.com. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!